is actually being a very critical player in saving.
Welcome to Prism of Torah with Rabbi Asaf Aharon Prisman, engaging Divrei Torah packed with stories and practical insights. Find us wherever you get your podcasts or at prismoftorah.org.
Shalom Bracha. In this week's Parsha for Bnei Eretz Yisrael, Parshas Korach, I want to share with you a deep idea brought down by the Tolner Rebbe about what was the danger in the theory of Korach. And in Mirtzei Hashem, we'll end up with a fabulous story that happened here in Eretz Yisrael. We know that Korach came and told Moshe Rabbeinu, why are you taking all the kavod, the honor to yourself to be in charge? We're all the same, we're all holy, kulanu kedushim. Moshe tries to get away from confrontation, but he has no choice. And then he does the following request. He goes up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and asks him, please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, create a new creation and let the earth open and swallow up Korach. And the question that screams out is, based on how Rashi explains this, that Moshe Rabbeinu requested HaKadosh Baruch Hu to create a new creation that the earth will swallow Korach. Why is that needed? There's many strange deaths. Why, number one, do we need a strange death over here? And also, why was it a new creation that the earth will open its mouth, so to speak, and swallow up Korach? Surely, any other death would reveal that Moshe is right and Korach is in the wrong. So I want to share with you what the Tolner Rebbe says. He says that Korach's whole idea is, Kulanu kedoshim, everyone is holy, everyone is equal. The Zohar goes on to say that Korach was against the idea of Shalom, which is also the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is the deep idea behind that? And the Sfas Emes and the Sivas Shalom take that also to mean that Korach was against Shabbos. What was Korach so against Shabbos? And the idea is as following. Korach wanted to say everyone is the same. The days are all the same. Why is there such a difference between Shabbos and the other days? They're all the same. Everything is united. There's unity in the world. Everything is the same. We're all equal. Equal rights to everyone. All the days are equal. All the people are equal. That is what Korach was trying to scream out. However, this is exactly the opposite of the spiritual DNA of the world, of creation that Hashem created. Korach literally tried to reverse the engine of creation. The way Hashem created the world is everyone is unique. Everyone has their unique role. And there is a clear demarcation. As we say in Havdalah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu differentiates ben Kodesh lechol, between holy and not holy, ben Klal Yisrael and the other nations. There are differences between Yom and Laila, day and night, Or v'choshech, light and darkness. That is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. There is a hierarchy for everything. There are Kohanim, Levim, and Israel. Everyone has to know their rule. If a Levi tries to do a Kohen's job, that doesn't count that he's going up and getting upgraded. He's deserted his responsibilities. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name is Shalom. Shalom maybe usually is considered to be just peace, but it's way more than that. It's not just having peace. It's a harmony where everyone does their job in the world. Then there's a certain harmony and unity in the world. And that is the spiritual DNA of creation that Hashem created. When everyone does their role, they work together as a team. But if they all do the same thing, that's not what Hashem orchestrated. That goes against creation. Hence, Moshe Rabbeinu said, what Korach is doing here is very, very dangerous. He's going against the whole idea of Hashem created the world. Everyone needs to know they got their tools to manage and perform their role in the world. When everyone does their role, there's an incredible harmony. Shalom also comes from the word shleimus, complete. You have the completeness that everyone's doing their role. Korach was going against that, and that was a big danger to creation, and hence a new creation, Moshe Rabbeinu felt, had to be created to make sure everyone understands. Mida keneged mida. He came to go against the way Hashem created the world. So Hashem, really, Moshe saw it fit that Hashem will create a new creation to take him away, to swallow him up and show everyone This is not the unique spiritual DNA Hashem created in the world. And everyone has to do their job in order to bring harmony to the world. And harmony and peace. And Shalom also comes from the word shleimus. It's wholesome. To have a wholesome environment, everyone has to know their boundaries and to know their role. I said this vote over to my friend Rabbi Prisman, and he told me an unbelievable idea that brings us all together. We know that when Klal Yisrael got the Torah, right before that it says Vayichanam, and the Jewish people dwelled next to Har Sinai, but it says it in singular form. So there's a famous Chazal, Rashi brings down Vayichanam. Why is it saying in singular? Because they were like one. Ke'ish echad belev echad. They were like one person with one heart. But the question begs itself, if you look at the environmental conditions at that point, it did not look that they were united. Moshe Rabbeinu was on his own. He went to learn the Torah, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then you had Yeshua waiting for him, the Skenim, Aaron. Everyone had a different red line where they can get to. And Klal Yisrael were all the way down, so each one had a different place. How can you say they were united? But based on the concept we're saying, the Tolner Rebbe's concept, everything is perfect. Yes, each one has their own role. The idea of being united is that when everyone does their role and they know their boundaries and what their tafkid, what their role is, then together there's harmony, there's shleimus, there's wholesome. Everyone is working like one unit. Just like when you see the birds fly together, you see everyone knows where they are in the formation, but together it looks like one unit. If everyone is the left hand, it doesn't look like there's unity. There's a left hand, a right hand, right leg, left leg. When everyone's working together and knows their role, that is what unity is. And not stam, unity, this idea of shleimus, shalom. The last Mishnah in Shas, in Uktzin, says that the only kli, the only vessel that is Hashem created that is perfect for abundance, for bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is shalom. When we have this shleimus, then the creation is working the way Hashem designed it to work. This was the huge danger of what Korach was trying to do. He was trying to say, no, everyone's the same. This is exactly what we have to deal with, especially in our generation with the Western culture. This whole mahalach perspective of everyone's equal rights to this, equal rights to this. No. Everyone has their role. There's a hierarchy. And look outside in the world, you'll see. The way the earth was created, the way the whole world was created, is everyone has what they need to do in their role. And when everyone does their role, instead of always wanting to do what the other person is doing, what their role is, then the life will be a better place. I remember I saw an amazing mashal brought down by Rav Zev Leff to a similar idea. There was a kid that kept bothering the father as he was having coffee, reading the newspaper. And at one point, the father just wanted the kid to go away for a bit, so he has a bit of peace of mind. So he took one piece of the newspaper, which happened to have a huge map of the whole world on it, and he tore it into pieces, thinking there's no way the kid can put this back together. But believe it or not, 5 minutes later, the kid comes back with the full map taped together. And the father was amazed. How did you manage to do that? And the son answered, oh, it was easy. Because on the other side of that paper was a picture of one person. And the nimshal is, if we all do our roles and fix ourselves, then the world will be a better place because it'll work like it was designed to work, the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu designed it to work. So we've answered our question. The reason Korach needed a new creation, not only to single him out, but midah keneged midah, measure against measure, that he has to have the creation screaming out, this is not the way the world was created. And hence a new creation had to be created that was never done before in order to scream this idea out. We've also answered how ke'ish echad belev echad is not a contradiction to the fact that everyone has their own role. Rather, it's quite the contrary. We need everyone to have their own role in order for everything to work in unity, just like a symphony works, with harmony, where everyone does their own job. Before we end off with the story that I promised, this also reminds me of the famous Netziv's mashal. The Netziv says, we know that Bnei Israel are nimshal to fire, whereas the other nations of the world, the Goyim, are nimshal to water. When water and fire are together with no borders, then the water takes away the fire. However, when there's a border, when there's a pot on the fire can heat up the water. It can also create something good with the water. Boil it up, heat it up. We need to ensure there's demarcation. Everyone knows their roles, be it one Jew to another, Kohanim, Levim, and Israel, or be it between us and the Gentiles. Yiratzon, that we'll be able to take this idea, what Korach was fighting against, and we have to fight the other way and ensure we always understand we're part of a harmony, we're all together and united, but with each one of us has distinct roles, and we have to be aware of that. I would like to end off with this unbelievable story that I heard by Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. He says this story about a person named Asaf Aharon. He's just a simple person that's a teacher and a great artist. He lives in a small moshav in the Gaza strip over there, a short drive from the border. Years ago, he looked at the bomb shelters over there, scattered across the south, and he saw they're so depressing. They're plain gray concrete boxes, and there was many of them. He knew that area was vulnerable, and there was a lot of bombings from time to time. And he thought to himself, a mother running inside with frightened children deserves something better. So it all started off with him deciding that he's going to go to his bomb shelter, and he decided to paint over there a nice picture of an ocean. But then he said, wait a second, what about everyone else? So he took it upon himself to volunteer and paint in each bomb shelter, which was for many families, a picture. These were scattered around all over. They're scattered around in Gaza. We all know what happened on October 7th. Families ran into those shelters as the rockets were falling one after the other. What happened was, it suddenly came about. No one saw this coming. So they called for rescue to help, but they had no address to give. They weren't even sure which bomb shelter they were in. All they could describe was the painting on the wall, because this person, Asaf Aharon, went to each bomb shelter and painted a unique drawing in each one. One was an ocean, one was sunset, one was kids playing in the playground. So it ended up being that he was the only one that could help the police decipher where everyone was located to rescue them. Through him, they saved tons of lives. He was able to match where the address for each picture. Asaf realized he was meant to be a teacher and a painter. He took that to help other people out. He had no idea he's actually being a very critical player in saving hundreds of people's lives. Have a good Shabbos.
This concludes another episode of the Prism of Torah. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the podcast and give a 5-star rating. You can also find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts or our own website, prismoftorah.com, where we have a full archive of all our past episodes. We would like to thank Yona Vefa for the recording equipment and Eli Podcast Productions for handling all our post-podcast productions. Join us next week for another enlightening conversation.